I want to talk about the disconnect between Hispanics born in America versus Hispanics born in their own countries. Growing up, I always knew I shared my culture with the United States and the country my parents were born in. In my head, I was always both. That never felt confusing to me. What became confusing was realizing that a lot of things and a lot of people led me to believe I could never truly be both at the same time. What I've come to understand is that this feeling has a name. It's what sociologists call bicultural identity tension, that internal and external pull between two cultures that both claim you, yet sometimes question you. It's also part of something bigger known as identity conflict, which happens when communities from one homeland grow roots somewhere else and begin to evolve differently. When I say there's a disconnect, I'm mainly talking about how the two different parties should relate to each other, but often don't. There's this invisible wall that, in my experience, exists because of cultural drift. Being born in America and influenced by American culture has always made it harder for me to fully relate to my cousins or family friends born in their respective countries. We share blood, language, and heritage, but our environments shaped us differently. My friend Jerry once pointed out that common preconceptions that exist on both sides make it harder for connection to truly synchronize. He's right. A lot of times, us Hispanics born in America hear stories about hard times in our countries from our parents and elders. These stories, while real, can create a kind of mutual mischaracterization. We build images in our heads, poor neighborhoods, kids running around with no shoes, one pencil for the whole school year. We imagine struggle frozen in time. But countries change, cities grow, people adapt. The version in our heads is sometimes an exaggerated rendition shaped by memory and distance. At the same time, many Hispanics living in Latin America are under the assumption that their families in America automatically have money and are prospering simply because they're in the United States. That assumption can be just as inaccurate. Poverty exists here too. Struggle exists here too. The American dream isn't automatic. It's complicated or dead, depending on who you ask. So both sides are looking at each other through distorted lenses. These superficial things aren't even what creates the deepest disconnect. It's the lack of communication. When people don't talk openly about reality, stereotypes fill the silence. I have friends in other countries who believe being born outside of your parents' homeland makes you less of whatever nationality your blood comes from. That mindset is a form of authenticity policing, or what some would call identity gatekeeping. It's the idea that someone gets to decide who is real and who isn't. For example, my friend Joel was born and raised in Puerto Rico. He firmly believes that Puerto Ricans born in America are not real Puerto Ricans. To him, authenticity is tied to proximity. He has kind of a proximity bias, the belief that physical closeness to the homeland determines cultural legitimacy. But culture isn't soil-bound, it's lived. While Joel sits in Puerto Rico eating traditional food, speaking Spanish daily, enjoying the sun by the beach, there are Puerto Ricans in New York, Chicago, and Orlando doing the same things. They listen to the same music, they celebrate the same flag, they cook the same dishes. The only difference is geography. And yes, some things change when you move. I'd be ignorant to deny that. Some of the culture shifts. Some traditions evolve. That's natural. That's cultural drift, not cultural death. Adapting to a new environment doesn't erase identity, it reshapes it. But for some reason, assimilation is often viewed as betrayal. There's a kind of assimilation anxiety, that the fear that adopting to American culture means losing your roots. So when someone speaks English fluently, adopts American slang, or navigates American systems comfortably, some people interpret that as dilution. I was raised by my grandparents who instilled values and culture in me that came directly from their time in El Salvador. My father did the same. I speak the language, I eat the food, I understand the customs, yet somehow to some people, that's still not enough, because I was born in America. That's where the real frustration lies. Denying someone's culture because of proximity to the motherland creates an even bigger disconnect. It ignores the fact that culture can exist across borders. It ignores the similarities and magnifies the differences. Nobody ever seems to acknowledge the overlap, the shared humor, the shared values, the shared struggles, the shared pride. Instead, the focus becomes proving authenticity. The reality is this. Identity isn't a competition. It's not a purity test. You can be shaped by America and still be deeply Salvadorian. You can carry your grandparents' values while navigating American society. That isn't contradiction, it's integration. It's cultural synergy, not subtraction. The disconnect isn't because we're too different, it's because we don't fully understand how similar we really are.